Hello, stampers and crafters. This is Kevon from ktstamps.com, creating cards for you. And I'm just really excited to be here today. This is my first time back after the vacation, and I just have lots to share with you. So I'm hoping that things go well and that I am going to get through everything I need to get through. Now, these have changed. I put them over here the other day and they changed. I don't remember what it was that I was doing, but anyway, I'm just going to fake it. I'm going to fake some of the things, but I'm not going to go back and look. So I'm hoping this is what I did, was just brights coloring over the top. Congratulations. And embellishments. So my first card that I have looks a little bit like this. And I just really thought about the coloring just for stuff that was in the background. So that's kind of how I looked at the whole thing, and I just thought sometimes that's just what you need to have as far as a little bit of coloring goes. So I'm hoping that I can get all these colors correct. But these are all brights, and I really tried to stay with the bright family. This is Azure Afternoon, and it is done with the die cuts that are online exclusive. They're called Radiating Stitches dies, and they have all these little dies that are all around the little area that kind of give it some type of a radiant look. And I really have liked this. My upline gave that to me when I reached my 20 years of being with Stampin' Up. So this is the die we used. Put it around. I find that sometimes it's easier for me to stamp and then die, and that's what I did on this. I am so grateful comes from the So Sincere, okay, that be grateful for what you have and be proud of who you are, which I am just a firm believer in. So we are using that. And then we have the two-tone Flora that we are using, and this is just so beautiful. I love this die. I did it on a 4.5 by 5.5, or excuse me, 4 1/4 by 5.5 piece of basic white. And then I cut it down so it fit, but it also gave me a chance just to look at where could I trim it. Then I used, the only thing that was not part, but I loved it, was the bubble bath. But then again, I also used the Berry Burst with the bubble bath. I love those colors. So those were two of my favorite. So all I did was take out the dies, and let me see if I can put these behind so you can see. These are two-step stamping. So all I did was took one of my solid pieces, and then I added my detail piece on top. All right, and I did the same with the bottom two. Then I decided that I really didn't want to cut out more leaves, so all I did was I got out my Bough punch, and it has this cute little flower in it and a leaf, and that is what I did with this. Okay, I have 3 of the leaves and 1 of the flowers. And with the leaves, one of the leaves I cut with the Bedazzled Specialty paper. So I love that. I just thought that we needed a little bit of sparkle when we did this card. So I'm going to just put everything together. If I think about it, I will find dimensions for you, and we can just go from there. This is um, Daffodil Delight, and it's 8.5 by 5.5 and scored at 1 1/4. I have just a piece of basic white, and the basic white is 4 by 5 1/4, so that makes up that. Again, this is the as big, it's basic white, and it has the small little die that goes with it. And then this is the die from the two-tone Flora, cut down, and this is cut down. I tried to get it cut down to right about 4 1/4, or 4 by 5 1/4, and then this is cut down exactly the same, maybe a little bit smaller. And this is from the Bright and Beautiful Designer Series paper, that's 6 by 6. So I just decided that this was bright enough for me that I could use it. So I'm going to start putting everything together. And with this, I'm going to turn this over. I'm going to bring in my multi-purpose glue, and then I'm going to put this towards the side, and I'm going to add a whole bunch of glue right here. Now I'm going to need to add more. This is just a sponge. I tried doing it with a dauber, and for me the dauber fell apart, so I just wanted something that would work, and it seemed like my sponge worked the best. So all I'm doing is tapping it. Got a little bit of glue on my sponge, and then I am just going through and tapping this and trying to get as much glue as I can on the flower, making sure that I get it around the edges so it will stay but not stick. All right, so that's all I did with that, as I got it all over me. All right, then from here, all I'm going to do is take this, and I thought I had one more around here. I feel like I have everything else, but what I need, because I brought that one over, but anyway, I guess I'll kind of do this one in the air. And all I'm doing is sticking this on. So we have the Bright and Beautiful in the back, and the, you know, it's kind of making colors in the back. And I like the way this looks. To me, it's absolutely beautiful. Now we have some sticky stuff that is on here. So what I am doing is I am taking, I'll be right back. I am taking my embossing buddy from my embossing kit, and all I'm going to do is give it a nice little tap. And that will clear the stickiness. Now sometimes you get something that looks a little bit like this in the corner, and when that happens, oh, I'm hoping that I have it. Oh, I guess I don't. But I take my eraser, my adhesive eraser, wherever it is. Oh, here it is. And all I do is kind of run that through, so then you can't see that that has turned just a little bit of different colors. So that's what I do whenever I use the technique of the mono, okay, on the back. Now you can see this is really sticky, and all you have to do is run it underneath the dishwasher, or just the the sink, and it just clears it all up. It's absolutely beautiful. So from here now, all I'm going to do is start putting this together. And as you can see, I did this a little bit different to give it a little more coloring. So yellow is on the top on this one, but yet yellow is on the bottom of where I am right now. And I really wanted just something a little bit different. So all I'm going to do is take my Stampin' seal and adhere that to the back. And then I already have my dimensionals on my two-step, two-toned Flora stamp set. And I'm just taking this off and just kind of eyeballing where do I want things to go. And I'm just going to take this and take my glue and just get it going. Just do a couple of dots in places. And I'm just doing it on top. And I'm just sticking them at the side so I know where do I want to stick my flowers. And again, the exact same thing with this one. And this one is going towards my side. And here it is. I'm just kind of sticking it out the other side. From here, using some of the, oops, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful bedazzled paper. And this one's just going to go right down here in front. And then I have the other little bow punch that is going to go up at the top. And I'm going to place that in with this. So there we go. And then this, again, I'm just using the ends of the dimensionals, putting this one underneath. And then again, more ends. Ran out of those nice little dimensionals. I love my dimensionals. And I am just putting this one down below here. So that's what that looks like. I love how this turned out. Taking my adhesive and putting that on the back and then adhering this down. There we go. I'm going to turn this over, just give it a nice little crease, and we're almost done. I love how this card looks. It's just so nice, and you know, I really enjoy knowing that it's important that we do give ourselves nice little strokes. And I think that we need to be very proud of who we are. So, I am, let me see if I can get this out of here. Yes, I can. So this is the Iridescent Rhinestone Basic Jewels that I'm using. Using the big ones on the center with little ones on the side. Well, they're the medium ones. Then I'm using the medium ones just to place in the center. And then our card is done. So that's how this turned out. I just think that it is beautiful. I love the way that it turned out. And it's a fun little card that you can give away to anyone who you're just so grateful for who they are. I love that. So that was card 1 down. Here's card number 2. And card number 2 has a little bit of coloring that I did in the background. We are using the Artistically inked. Love this stamp set. So I did 3 different things with these flowers that I will talk about once we get to that point. And then I'm going to change these little garnishments or embossments after we're done. I feel like I needed to have something just a little bit bigger show. So on this, I used this and I die cut it out with the basic white. I also used a piece of 4 by 5 1/4, and I embossed it after I did a little bit of brushing on it. So I enjoyed that a lot. That was really fun. I used these wonderful little dies to make these flowers. I used the Best Wishes, but I also brought in the Nesting Essentials, and I did it with this little square, and the Best Wishes fit right in here. And then I added on top of everything, as much as I could find, some Wink Stella. This is, it comes in a tri ribbon, and I can't remember. It is the Azure Afternoon, and I can't remember what that is. Again, everything will be on my blog, so you can check it out. All right, so let's get ourselves started on this. So first I have to find everything. I just had it with me. Okay, oh, here we go. All right, so here's our card again so you can see. And I have everything inside here. I just put it inside this so it's easier to hold everything. So the first thing that we want to do is that we want to bring in our brushes. Bring in our 4 by 5 1/4. This is a Sure Afternoon, and it is 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. All right, so we are going to bring in then our, I don't have everything with me, doggone it. We are going to bring in our yellow, and this was done with our Granny Apple. So I have that. Hold on a minute, I gotta get the sorry about that. I had to grab my, this isn't the color that I did this with, but I am having a loss of stamp sets today. So anyway, we're going to just let that one go. I'm going to use Coastal Cabana and Daffodil Delight. And I know that I used something else, but hey, sometimes you gotta improvise if you can't find something, and it always seems like things like this happen on camera. So what we're gonna do is that we are going to take some of the Coastal Cabana and we are just running it over the top with our sponging brushes. I love these brushes. They are so awesome. So I really want to make one corner just a little bit darker than the other. All right, keeping this out, I'm going to take the yellow, which is the what are you? I forgot. Oh my goodness, why am I going? Daffodil Delight. I do not know why my brain is so out of whack. All right. And we're going to take this, take a look at it, and I think we need just a little bit more. And I wanted to leave just some white space down at the bottom. So that's what we have as far as this goes. Now I'm going to bring in my Big Shot. And I'm also bringing in my, I hope I have not lost it now. Here we go. I'm bringing in my Distress tile. So when you line this up, you really line it up. There's a black line at the bottom. And so everything that I do, I try to get it straight and line it up right there. Now, with my Big Shot, I am bringing in, this is like a big one, I am bringing in my plate number 1. And because I am using a 3D embossing folder, I'm bringing in my plate number 4. And this is the best thing because it tells you exactly how to lay things out. And I love this machine. And I'm going to just place this on top and just run it through nice and easy. And it's going to give me this beautiful embossed. I don't know if you can see, there you go. You can see a little bit of just the embossed area. Love that. And again, the embossing folder is called the Distress Tile 3D. So now we're going to start to put everything together. And just like we did before, we are taking our white. We're going to daub more on the side. And one of the reasons that I didn't want to use the same one is because it has sticky spots on it and I have not had a chance to clean it. And so I am just waiting until I can clean it and then I could reuse it. So here we go with this. Moving this out of the way. Also our sponge out of the way. And we are just going to take this up towards the top and lay it down. Isn't that beautiful? The white just really shows on this. And then when you add this to the back, it just really complements each other. And it's so subtle. That's my favorite part. All right, so on this flower, again, that comes from the Artistically ink. It's the big flower. What I did with that is that I dipped it in the lighter ink, which is the Flirty Flamingo, and then I took my Dauber and I just inked up the center of the stamp, and then I just stamped it, and this is how it came out with the two-toned colors. So that was the first thing that I did. This, I'm just going to take this, add some adhesive to it, and I am just sticking it down towards the side, allowing the leaves to show. Now with these next three, again, this is the Granny Apple. This one was done with, I stamped full on with the Berry Bliss. This one, I did the exact same technique. I stamped it in the Flirty Flamingo and then daubed the Berry Burst with it. And this one I did what was called a rock and roll. So now I had paper that I was going to show you how I created all of those. It's just a scrap of paper. Obviously, everything is disappearing today. But I will just do it on my scrap paper so you can see how I did it. So what I did was that I took my first two and I went with the light. So I just stamped it in my, I'll bring it over so you guys can see. I stamped it in the Flirty Flamingo, taking the Berry Bliss, and all I did was inked it up, and then once I put it down, it comes out with these wonderful different colors. So then the next thing that I did is that I pretty much cleaned it quickly. I stamped it, and then I did what is called a rock and roll. And all I did was you take it at an angle and you just roll it around. And then, as you can see, it does get all over the place when you rock and roll. And then you can't see as much, but there's a little bit in here. I did a better job on this, so the darker comes to the outside with the lighter only staying on the inside. So that's what I did with that one. And then on the last one, I just stamped it straight on. So those are the three colors that I used with my stamp this time. And, excuse me, this is where I stamped here, and then I took my Berry Bliss sometimes you have to so you spray it, so you give it a little moisture, and then I'm down. So those are the techniques that I used with the flowers today. So I hope that if you have not had a chance to use those, that you give those a try. All right, so as we continue on, I do not know where all the little the little babies went to. Wow. All right, yay! So I found at least 4. All right, so building on to one another, I took the darker flower and I just adhered it down. Again, trying to just create flowers, but also allow some of the side to really shine and sparkle. Then I took the Rock and Roll, and this is my foam adhesive, and all I did was take one of these. So I have red, so I have the darker pinks, reds on top of each other. And then I took my last one, I adhered this down. And again, I tried to just give it, let me see, I'm going to turn it just a little bit this way so the white leaves come through. And then I added the adhesive foam on this. And there we go. So I have that. This is so much fun to make. Then I took my little tag and all I did was make something that I could do a little, it looked like it was 3-2. So hold on, let me see if I can get this going. So there, there, and there. I'm just futzing with this. All right, then I just took a piece of my Scotch tape. I put this down. Adjusted it and put my tape on the back. So this is what this looks like. I then took my ribbon scissors, cut an angle, took one of my, well, I took a couple different pieces of the foam adhesive, stuck it on the back, and I love the way that this just turned out. Just so many beautiful colors. There we go. Yes! Woo! Adhered it to the back, and because it is embossed, I am going to use some of the adhesive on the back so I do not get any of the embossing to be pressed out. And then all I'm going to do is place this down and just give it a good rub on the back. There we go. Isn't it beautiful? I love this. Now I have not done anything on the inside, so all I'm going to do is put just a piece of basic white on the inside, and I think I'm just going to write on it, but I don't know. And you know that if you do make a mistake, you guys, just cover it up with a punch like this. That may not be my favorite thing there. Then I am bringing out my tools, And I'm missing one of the flowers. So I am going to add a dot up here, I hope. There's a dot. And then 3 dots down here. Oops, that one is a big one. So I'm going to get these out. This one is a big dot. So I'm just taking these and placing these on top. And doing the top one. And when I find the other one, then I will put it on too. And this just has a nice little dot to it. And then usually I work in odd numbers. Oh my goodness. This one just does not want to stay. Yeah, there we go. All right, so now we have all of this done. So we are going to add a couple of little things. One will first be our Wink of Stella. So we're giving it just a little bit of sparkle. And I'm trying to find all the flowers and sparkle them. I may have to glue that one down again. And then one more at the top. Now let me make sure this stays. Okay. Does not want to stay. So I add one more little drop. There we go. All right, so we have that done. Now we get to decorate. And I'm going to go just a little bit overboard. Let me see. Oh. So I'm going to use the same iridescent rhinestones. Just use these right in the middle. Give it a beautiful shine. Oops. I lost the little glue dot part. Come on. There we go. And now I'm just using the very small ones to put inside here. A bigger one right here. And then one up here. So hopefully 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Exactly what we needed. This is what our card turned out. So, oh my God, I hope that you guys enjoyed that. This is like, wow, I gotta be better at being on camera again. You never know how much you've lost by doing this. So here are the cards today. I should probably bring those both back so you can, if you want to take a picture, you take a picture. Otherwise, they're here so you can go ahead and follow along. Love them. They are just so beautiful. All right, and now let's see what we're doing next time. All right, so as we throw the dice again next time, first of all, we are going to do sponging in colors, birthdays, fun fold, and embellishments. So that is what we are doing next time. So this will be on Thursday, I think, of Thanksgiving. So I think I'm going to try to do the Thursday on Thanksgiving. So I hope that you had a great time today. Again, my name is Kevon, and I'm, just really appreciate you being here with me as we go through all of this. My website is www.ktstamps.com, and my motto is creating cards for you. Have a great day, have a great weekend, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.